Hi everyone and welcome to tonight's webinar. We are just waiting for a few more people to join us before we get started. Okay, so we're just seeming to have a few technical difficulties. Can anyone just type in the questions box and let me know if you can hear the recording or hear my voice, please? Okay, excellent. All right, so we're going to get started. So first of all, I just wanted to say welcome to tonight's webinar. I'm really excited to be here presenting Healthy Skin from Within on behalf of NutriChem. And the way that it'll work this evening is I'm going to run through the webinar. As we move through the slides, please feel free to post your questions in the question box. I won't answer them as we're moving through the webinar, just because I want to make sure that we get through all of the information. But hopefully when we get to the end, I'll have enough time to answer a few of them. And then if there's any that we miss, you can always send me a quick email after the fact, and I'll do my best to answer them then. All right, so let's get started. Okay. All right. So hi, my name's Julia. I'm a registered holistic nutritionist with NutriChem, and I'm going to be presenting this webinar for you today. Just a little bit about me so that you know who's doing the presenting. I have an undergraduate degree in English and History. I went to Trent University in Peterborough. When I was finished university, I moved to Ottawa to study yoga and take yoga teacher training. And during that time, I started working at an organic spa, and I really developed an interest in holistic skincare. So with that interest came not only, an interest in topical food for the skin through skin products, but also an interest in how what we put in our bodies affects the health of our skin. Shortly thereafter, so in 2010, I started school to become a registered holistic nutritionist, and I'm now one of two practicing nutritionists with NutriChem and also the patient coordinator at our East End location. So what is holistic nutrition? Holistic nutrition follows the principles of biochemical individuality. So essentially this just recognizes that each person is their own unique person and needs their own unique diet to feel their very best. So it does address the person as a whole. And as nutritionists, we provide support through diet, supplementation, and lifestyle recommendations. Our services also include protocols that we give our clients and customized meal plans. So let's get into the skin. So why even talk about the skin? Are we just being vain? The truth is that skin health really matters. So skin health impacts our confidence, our self-esteem, and it also impacts the way that others see us. Problems with the skin may signify an imbalance or a health issue that's kind of underlying on a deeper level. Some interesting facts about the skin. The skin is the largest organ of the body. And why is it an organ? It's considered an organ because it consists of several types of tissues that all function together. It's more than 30 layers deep and weighs 3 to 4 kilograms. I find that amazing. It also sheds 30 to 50,000 dead skin cells every minute. Isn't that incredible? And then our skin cell turnover gradually slows from when we're born. So every 14 days for a newborn, that explains why they're so incredibly soft to the touch, to 1.5 to 3 months for adults over the age of 50. So let's talk about the anatomy of the skin a little bit. The skin has 3 fundamental layers. The top layer is called the epidermis. This is what you're feeling when you rub your arm. It's composed of many layers of dead overlapping cells, and these cells are interspersed with pores, which are ducts for sweat glands and hair follicles. Dead cells slough off and new cells move up from the lower levels of the skin toward the surface. The layers below the epidermis are called the dermis. The dermis contains blood capillaries, nerve endings, sweat glands, hair follicles, and other structures as well, and it actually provides physical support for the epidermis. This layer also contains collagen, elastin, and proteins, which make the skin supple and elastic. Finally, the deepest layer of the skin is called the hypodermis, and this is a fatty cushion layer. This is our protection for our skin and for our body as well. It protects the body and insulates the body, and it contains larger nerves and blood vessels which feed the upper layers of the skin. So there's 2 types of factors that affect skin health. One is the external environment and one is our internal environment. I'm going to read these off. For the external environment, climate is very important. Temperature and humidity. This affects the hydration of the skin. Sun exposure is also important. It may result in pigmentation, wrinkling, or skin damage. And then we've got chemical sensitivities. These may be due to cleaning products, fabric softeners, things that can result in skin damage or inflammation. And then finally, there's also physical damage. So these are bruises, cuts, and scrapes, things you generally want to avoid. All right, so let's talk about some internal factors that affect the health of the skin. So we're going to touch a little bit more on these as we move deeper into the webinar, but we'll just look at them from a glance at this point. These include nutrient deficiencies, vitamin and mineral deficiencies, your antioxidant status, so how rich your diet is in antioxidants, your hormonal balance or imbalanced, whether or not your immune system is functioning properly, any food sensitivities you may have, any circulatory issues or blood sugar imbalance, poor sleep, this is a big one. Your sleep really affects the health of your skin. Stress and adrenal function, candida, which is basically a yeast overgrowth in the body, as well as just an imbalanced gut microbiome, and then a viral or bacterial infection. So let's talk about the skin or an imbalance of the skin and how it manifests. The skin is expressive. Have you ever seen someone's skin when they're going through a period of extreme stress, or someone who only eats processed food? What's happening on the outside and inside is reflected by the state of our skin. So it can really tell us whether or not our body is healthy and comfortable with our external and internal environment. An imbalanced body, an imbalanced situation may result in skin conditions such as acne, eczema, psoriasis, rosacea, premature aging, dull or lifeless skin. And we're going to talk about some of these in greater detail as we move through our webinar. So isn't it just genetics? Many medical professionals deny the connection between skin health and nutrition. And I'm not denying the role that genetics plays in skin type and the development of skin conditions. However, most of us know from experience that what we eat affects the health of our skin. I'm sure we've all had a time where we've eaten too much sugar, too much dairy, and we really notice that we may be breaking out or have an eczema flare-up, and we can really draw that connection between what we put in our mouth and what we look like on the outside. So to put it another way, Genetics load the gun and the environment pulls the trigger. While you may be genetically loaded or predisposed for a specific skin condition, the way that we live our lives, what we eat, how we supplement our bodies, can decide or dictate whether or not these genes ever become expressed. So you have more control over the health of your skin than you may have been told in the past. So what is a healthy skin diet? We're just going to start by going over just an overview of what it looks like. Interestingly, a healthy diet for the skin is also healthy for the rest of the body. So healthy skin diet focuses on whole, live, and natural foods. It's rich in healthy protein, complex carbohydrates, lots of healthy fats. Fats are very important for the health of the skin. And it's rich in micronutrients. Micronutrients tend to be vitamins and minerals. So there's all the smaller nutrients that are hidden in our fruits and vegetables. And then it's also rich in antioxidants. So think of those lovely rainbow-colored fruits and vegetables. Eating the color of the rainbow ensures that your diet's high in antioxidants. A healthy skin diet also reduces or eliminates processed and refined foods. Think of foods that come in packages or cans. Trans fats, denatured fats, shelf-stable fats, those are no good for our bodies or our skin. Inflammatory foods. Now you're going to see this come up over and over again over the course of the webinar. Inflammatory foods are particularly bad for most of these skin conditions that I'm going to be talking about this evening. Allergenic foods, the skin is highly expressive in terms of showing up whether or not you may have eaten something that you may be allergic to. Sugar, colors, and preservatives, never a good thing. So briefly, let's talk about protein. Protein is really important for the skin because it helps with formation of new tissues and to repair muscle tissue, as well as the manufacture of antibodies and enzymes. Protein is made up of 22 naturally occurring amino acids, 9 of which are essential. So these must be acquired through diet. The body cannot manufacture them itself. So we'll talk about some healthy sources of protein. This includes your organic poultry, organic eggs, wild-caught fish. You want to try to go as natural as possible here and reduce conventionally raised animals, and really as much as possible try to go for wild and organic. Beans and legumes, nuts and seeds, and even plant-based protein powders I think can be really beneficial, especially for those of us who are busy and on the go and don't necessarily have time to get enough protein in our diets. Carbohydrates are also important for the skin. They're the body's primary source of fuel. And when you think about carbohydrates, these are basically plant foods. So fruits, vegetables, grains, legumes, and tubers. We want to focus, when we're focusing on a healthy skin diet, and just in general, on the more complex types of carbohydrates. So these include raw and lightly steamed vegetables, gluten-free grains, and you want to stick to those unrefined ones where you can see that actual whole grain, soaked and cooked beans and legumes, and nuts and seeds. And then you want to avoid the worst sources of carbohydrates, which are white pasta, white flour, white sugar. I like to think white death. You really don't want to be having those white foods. And these are really convenience foods. So cookies, cakes, crackers, starchy foods that you can eat quickly on the go that are higher in calories but tend to be devoid of nutrients. And then finally, we'll talk about fats, our last macronutrient here. Fats are really important for the health of the skin, as I mentioned before. They can be divided into saturated, monounsaturated, polyunsaturated, and trans fats. For years, fats have been given a bad name. However, dietary fats play a number of extremely essential roles in the body. Healthy sources of fats include avocados, nuts and seeds, coconut oils, and you want to use unheated olive oils, hemp oils, flax, and walnut oils. Even grass-fed butter is really excellent unless you're avoiding dairy. And then the worst sources of fat tend to be things like margarine and fried foods that have denatured fats, cheap vegetable oils, and also rancid fats. The fats that are stored in lightly colored bottles are no good because when they're exposed to light, they can actually become denatured and become toxic. All right, so let's move into our skin conditions. What is acne? So acne is inflamed or infected sebaceous glands in the skin, in particular characterized by red pimples on the face. It's one of the most common skin conditions affecting 79 to 85% of the adolescent population. That's a lot of us. And 40 to 50% of adults. So a lot of us think about this as a teenage sort of situation, but really, a lot of people in adulthood suffer acne as well. It may occur premenstrually as well, so be tied to your hormonal or your menstrual cycle during pregnancy and exist again into adulthood. And it includes whiteheads, blackheads, pustules, papules, nodules, and cysts. So this is the good stuff. Let's talk about the potential causes of acne, other than the fact that it may be hereditary. So in the case of acne, androgens, which are sex hormones, stimulate the cells that line the hair follicle to produce keratin, or protein, and sebum, which is oil. The mix of protein and oil form kind of a slick, a surface over the follicle or the pore that traps bacteria in the follicle and may lead to inflammation and infection. So basically this protein and oil are on excess or on overdrive due to an overproduction of androgens, and this oil traps the bacteria in the pores, and that bacteria starts to fester, make the pore infected, red, and inflamed. So that's one potential cause of acne, is this excess of androgens. It also may be a result of a hormonal imbalance, such as an excess of estrogen or testosterone. And sometimes these are actually hormonal conditions, such as polycystic ovarian syndrome, in which it's a condition in which excess androgens are being produced and can result in a lot of acne. Another potential cause of acne is something called intestinal toxemia. That's basically a fancy word for constipation. It's a condition in which the body is not eliminating its waste efficiently. And then rather than being excreting waste and toxins along with the feces, it's reabsorbing toxins. And then these toxins begin to be excreted through another detoxification pathway, which is the skin. So, one of the first things that you want to look at when you're thinking about acne is looking at whether or not you're constipated. Candida and or intestinal permeability, also known as leaky gut, may be a contributing factor to acne, as well as allergies, as I mentioned before, food allergies and intolerances. Stress is a huge one. If you're going through a period of stress in your life and you're having an acne breakout, you may want to take a look at ways to reduce that stress. And then, of course, overall dietary choices. Conventional treatments of acne include things like antibiotics, which do destroy the bacteria that contribute to acne, but also weakens immunity and may contribute to candidiasis, which is that yeast overgrowth that may ultimately cause more acne. So not always a great choice. Then we have Accutane, which actually halts sebum production. But this has a whole host of side effects. If you're pregnant, it may cause birth defects, allergic reaction, really dry skin because it halts that sebum production, the oil production, and mucous membranes. It may result in slow healing. And here's a good one. Acne. It can actually contribute to acne and severe acne scarring. So even though it may resolve the active acne, it may contribute to long-term scarring. Also, or finally, the birth control pill is a big one. And again, it has a whole host of side effects that go along with it, including depression, weight gain, hormonal imbalance, and of course blood clots as well. So what can we do dietary-wise to support the body to heal or prevent acne? big one, and one that often may result in complete turnaround for people, is to eliminate dairy. Eliminating dairy often clears up the acne dramatically. Milk contributes to acne for a few reasons. Number one, it contains hormones that contribute to the production of the proteins and oils that cause acne. So if you think about, milk, you're feeding a baby cow. An adult cow is feeding a baby calf. So that milk actually has hormones in it, hormones that may be disrupting the human hormonal balance. So cutting out dairy is a great way to sort of halt that situation or put that situation on pause. Milk is also inflammatory and can therefore exacerbate existing acne. And milk is also one of the top allergenic foods. So just like we talked about before, if you have an intolerance to milk, you may not notice it anywhere else in your body except for every time you have milk, you may have an acne breakout. Eliminating sugar and trans fats is also excellent for the prevention and healing of acne. Sugar lowers immunity, so it reduces the body's ability to fight the bacteria that causes acne. And both sugar and unhealthy fats contribute to inflammation. High fiber foods improve digestion and elimination and reduce the incidence of constipation and intestinal toxemia. And then, of course, we want to have a diet that's very high in micro and macronutrients. Those micronutrients are the vitamins and minerals that promote healing and tissue regeneration and lower inflammation. We also want to try to do our best to eat low glycemic. And of course, hydrated skin is healthy skin. We should make that our mantra. So making sure that you're drinking 6 to 8 glasses of pure water a day. So some supplements for acne. Essential fatty acids are at the top of my list because they're so anti-inflammatory. So these are your fish oils. I love NutriChem's Pure Premium Fish Oil just because it's got such a high EPA level, which means it's a potent anti-inflammatory. Then we've got probiotics to replenish healthy bacteria to reduce acne outbreaks. A B complex is excellent because it's an anti-stress supplement. And then, of course, we've got our antioxidants, A, C, E, zinc, and selenium. And these are all very important for skin healing and regeneration. And then we have our indole-3 carbinol, or I3C, and milk thistle. These are both excellent supplements for supporting the liver detoxification pathways to get rid of excess hormones and reduce the incidence of acne. So especially if you notice that you have hormonally related acne, a good liver support goes a long way. And then of course we have chaste tree berry, which helps balance hormones and to decrease hormonally related acne as well. Okay, so we'll move on to eczema. So what is eczema? Eczema is a condition in which patches of skin become rough, inflamed, itchy, thick, scaly, crusty, or weepy. Definitely no fun. It affects 10% of the population, so it is less common than acne. But it can be really awful to experience as well because it can feel itchy and it often comes up on the face or the creases of the elbows. And it has a strong connection with the immune system. So let's talk about some potential causes of acne, or eczema, sorry. One of the first places I look is actually at the acidity in the gut, the acidity of the stomach and your ability to break down food. So hypochlorhydria, or low stomach acid, may actually be a contributing factor to eczema. Over time, our bodies begin to produce less stomach acid. This just happens naturally as we age. But this decrease in acidity results in compromised digestion because if you don't have enough acid, you're not breaking your food down properly. So this means that larger than normal food particles are moving through the digestive tract. And so when they enter the intestine, unhealthy bacteria may begin to feed off these larger pieces of food and they start to proliferate. They start to create a really big army of unhealthy bacteria. And this bacteria may begin to irritate the lining of the gut and contribute to the inflammation of the gut lining and cause something called leaky gut, which is basically just an intestinal wall that is leaky. These leaks, or small openings in the lining of the gut, allow larger than normal food particles to move into the bloodstream and excite the immune system. And they result in subsequent allergies and intolerances, and eventually they may contribute to eczema as well, or the showing up in the surface of the skin. Another potential cause of eczema is actually essential fatty acid deficiencies. So people with eczema tend to do very well with high dosages of essential fats. Eczema can be triggered by certain external and internal environment or triggers, such as stress, hot or cold temperatures, dryness, this is a big one, environmental allergens or exposure to environmental like cleaning products, anything at home that may, can irritate the skin. And it can cause something called contact dermatitis, which is basically a form of eczema. Okay, so what are the conventional treatments of eczema? If you have had eczema, you will know that your doctor will normally prescribe a corticosteroid cream. Sometimes it's prescribed orally as well. So corticosteroids do turn off the immune response to decrease the inflammatory reaction of the skin, but they also may cause skin thinning, changes to the texture of the skin, hyperpigmentation, and itchy skin as well. So some not so great side effects. So what can we do dietary-wise to support the prevention and healing of eczema? Number one would be to try an elimination diet. Sometimes this is also called an elimination and provocation diet. So this type of diet can give you an idea of what foods your body may be reacting to that could be contributing to eczema. Essentially, you're removing the top allergens from your diet for a period of 3 to 6 weeks. You're following a gut healing protocol, and then you're slowly reintroducing these foods one at a time. And as you're reintroducing them, you're taking very clear notes on what any symptoms, if you're having any, that crop up as you reintroduce these foods. And you may notice, oh my gosh, every time I eat eggs or every time I drink milk, I develop an eczema outbreak. You want to make sure that you're eating 6 to 8 servings of fruits and vegetables a day and 1 to 2 servings of fruit. These are, again, high in your micronutrients, so they're really wonderfully rich in vitamins and minerals. Cold water fish, nuts, and seeds are amazing because they're great sources of omega-3 fats to support overall health of the skin and reduce redness and inflammation. And then avoiding acid-forming foods that contribute to inflammation. So things like sugar, refined carbohydrates, fried food, dairy, alcohol, and caffeine. Now I just want to highlight dairy there for everyone because dairy is, again, just like acne, a huge one when it comes to eczema. So sometimes just by doing a few supplements and removing even just the dairy from the diet, people will notice a complete sort of turnaround and improvement of their skin. And then, of course, drinking your water every single day, getting lots of water. So getting into some supplements for eczema, as I mentioned, hypochlorhydria or low stomach acid may be at the root of eczema. So some digestive support such as hydrochloric acid and digestive enzymes can really be beneficial to improve the digestion and reduce the incidence of candida, leaky gut, and food intolerance. Then we've got our essential fatty acids, things like our fish oil and borage oil, again to combat inflammation and support the overall health of the skin. We've got probiotics. In this case, probiotics are really wonderful for modulating the immune response and modulating the inflammatory response. They also prevent leaky gut and support immunity. We've got our antioxidants for healing and tissue regeneration, a good B complex for your anti-stress. I'll tell you, I love AOR's Advanced B Complex, and Thorne also has a really wonderful B complex as well. So they're nice, high potency, and you really can feel them working to help your body deal with stress. Quercetin, this is a new one. So quercetin actually lowers histamine to reduce itching and also provide that anti-inflammatory effect. So if you're having an eczema breakout and you're very itchy, you may want to try taking quercetin to reduce that histamine response and reduce itching. Okay, so we'll touch briefly upon psoriasis as well. Psoriasis, while it can be mistaken for eczema, is quite different. It is marked by red, itchy, scaly patches, but it's different in that the skin replicates too quickly and begins to form layers of scales. It can occur anywhere, but it's most often found on the scalp, the elbows, the knees and legs. Typical onset is around between the ages of 15 and 30. And patients go through periods of flare-ups followed by periods of remission. So you may know that notice that your psoriasis goes away nearly completely, and then you may have a life experience like a stress or a dietary trigger, and boof, there you go, your psoriasis is back again. So getting into some potential causes of psoriasis, the cause is actually largely unknown. You know, we're still, with a lot of these conditions, we're still trying to figure out the cause, but we do know that it is most likely an autoimmune disorder. It may be related again to intestinal permeability or that leaky gut and an impaired liver function, so the liver not detoxifying properly. It may also be related to bowel toxemia. So again, that's that constipation and reabsorption of toxins, and then the sort of excretion or elimination of the toxins through the surface of the skin. A faulty utilization of fats may come into play as well. So they may contribute to fatty acid deficiencies. This is why, again, you know, patients with psoriasis may benefit from high dosages of healthy and anti-inflammatory fat. Just like eczema, psoriasis has triggers. So again, external and internal. These may include constipation and bowel toxemia, poor diet, an inflammatory diet, alcohol consumption, stress, injury, medication. So there's many different potential triggers for psoriasis. Okay, so let's talk about the conventional treatment of psoriasis. Number one on the list is the avoidance of triggers. So just avoiding anything that may, that you notice may be setting your psoriasis off. Also topical medications such as steroids and corticosteroids that we already mentioned can be used, or even topical retinols. And then some oral medications may be used or prescribed as well. So getting into some dietary support for psoriasis. Food intolerances may contribute to psoriasis as well. So an elimination provocation diet can help single out which foods may be at the root of the problem. So going through, an elimination diet where, again, you're cutting out those top offending factors or top foods can be beneficial. And then limiting animal products and saturated fats. Some saturated fats are healthy. I don't want to criminalize saturated fats, but just making sure that you're getting healthy sources such as coconut oils. And avoiding dairy, that's a big one as well. Fiber improves elimination of toxins from the body and reduces the incidence and severity of psoriasis. And then eliminating sugar, caffeine, and alcohol, and just making sure that, again, you're really focusing on an anti-inflammatory diet. So rich in colorful fruits and vegetables, especially those green leafy vegetables. They're really, really wonderful for skin health. Supplements that are beneficial for psoriasis. Again, we're going to touch on those antioxidants. These are going to come up for every skin condition, no matter what, because they're strengthening for the skin. They support immunity and lower inflammation. They support collagen production and improve healing and tissue repair. And also they prevent scarring. Selenium is a big one too because it actually supports detoxification. So that's really important. As I mentioned before, liver toxicity may be a potential cause of psoriasis. You can also get really heavy into those essential fats, those healthy fats such as flax oil, borage oil, evening primrose, and fish oils. And then you can even use topical gamma-linolenic acid, or GLA. I believe Lorna Vanderhagen has a topical GLA cream that you can use. So that's something that I believe she's had great success with. A fiber supplement is wonderful as well. And then one that's not on the slide but I'd like to add is probiotics. So many people don't know that our T cells actually go into or are matured in the gut microbiome. And this gut situation at the time of that maturation will tell these cells whether or not they should be pro-inflammatory or anti-inflammatory. Now, we don't want to develop an immune or an autoimmune response by having an unhealthy gut microbiome and having them think that they need to be super pro-inflammatory. So making sure that our gut microbiome is healthy will create T cells that know how to sort of turn off that anti-inflammatory response, or the inflammatory response, sorry. We'll get right into rosacea here. Rosacea is a condition in which the capillaries just below the surface of the skin become dilated, resulting in inflammation, red, blotchy, and patchy skin. And they may also, the skin may also exhibit pimples or bumps in some cases. It often begins with frequent flushing, but does progress into a more permanent condition. And I just want to be clear, this is really different from normal flushing that just feels like a sort of warming of the skin. This lasts longer, and it may feel like tingling, stinging, or burning. So it's a little bit more, or quite a bit different from regular flushing. Again, the causes of rosacea are not entirely understood, but there's a few potential causes that we're going to get right into. One of them is H. pylori. So this is a bacteria that actually causes ulcers, but it also has a connection with rosacea. So H. pylori increases the production of vasoactive substances, including histamines, prostaglandins, and leukotrienes, which progress the symptoms of rosacea. So they increase vaso sort of dilating substances that increase the appearance of rosacea. For some patients, addressing H. pylori may dramatically reduce the symptoms of rosacea. So definitely something to look into if you yourself suffer from rosacea. Another potential cause is food allergies, low stomach acid, vitamin deficiencies, and then here's a tongue twister for you, Demodex folliculorum. So this is actually a mite that is naturally present on the surface of the skin. However, in patients who have rosacea, the levels tend to be much higher. So what scientists are thinking is that these mites may actually trigger an immune response and increase inflammation in the skin. And then, of course, it may be a result of an underlying vascular disorder. Rosacea may also be triggered by heat, cold, smoking. Here's the big one, spicy food, and then hot food temperature-wise. So physically hot liquids, soups, things like that. And then excessive sun exposure, alcohol consumption, that's a big one. Even your makeup and stress. So there's quite a few different triggers that may be exacerbating or contributing to rosacea. Conventional treatment of rosacea is to avoid triggers and try antibiotics, again, which may disrupt the gut microbiome, so not necessarily always the healthiest way to go. So you may want to try something natural first. Some dietary support for rosacea. So as we mentioned before, an elimination diet may be beneficial. Avoiding trigger foods is really important. So if you notice that anytime you eat a really spicy food or have hot sauce or something cayenne, you may have a rosacea outbreak. You want to avoid those. And then eliminate refined and concentrated sugars, hydrogenated or trans fats, and fried foods. And also to assess for dysbiosis. This is a gut microbiome imbalance that can sometimes result in candidiasis or contribute to symptoms such as yeast infections and general fatigue and exhaustion during the day. So those are all kind of signs that you may want to look further into whether or not you may have dysbiosis. Some supplements that are great for rosacea include fish oil or GLA supplement. These again reduce inflammation, and they also help the skin retain moisture. So that's important for rosacea. And then pycnogenol, this is a new one on our list. It actually reduces histamine production again, and it can help reduce itching, much like that quercetin that we spoke about before. A good B complex may reduce stress and decrease the frequency and duration of rosacea flare-ups. Vitamin C, this is a wonderful, wonderful supplement for rosacea. Not only is it an antihistamine, it's also skin strengthening. So you can think about vitamin C as strengthening the capillary walls, and this helps them constrict and dilate more effectively to help move that blood along and reduce the appearance of rosacea and prevent the development of rosacea. Now I should mention that you can use vitamin C topically as well. So a great product that's high in vitamin C, some include rosebud, which is a lovely natural source of vitamin C, actually works from the outside in to improve circulation and to strengthen the capillary walls. Curcumin is also wonderful for reducing inflammation. Then we have the probiotic for the gut microbiome and immune modulation. Hydrochloric acid to improve digestion, and then also pancreatin. Those with rosacea may actually have diminished secretion of the enzyme lipase, which helps us break down fats. So a pancreatin supplement would provide lipase to improve the breakdown of fats. All right, here's the big one. I know a lot of people are interested in aging skin. So what is aging skin? Well, I'm sure you don't need me to tell you what aging skin is, but let's talk about it anyway. It's when the skin begins to thin and lose elasticity. So it's when you're maintaining those expression lines after the expression is finished. So I want to just be clear, I don't necessarily like the term anti-aging, because really aging is normal. I mean, wrinkling, it is a normal part of aging, and we do have to sort of embrace the fact that we're getting older and aging and understand that some of that is normal, but there are things that we can also do to support glowing and healthy skin from the inside out. So, and again, prevention is key. We want to start young, but it's important to, you can start whenever, no matter what age you're at, but just doing your best to give your skin the nutrients that it needs to remain youthful. Yeah, I don't like that term anti-aging so much, so let's put a positive spin on it. All right, so let's talk about some causes of accelerated skin aging. So accelerated free radical damage leads to the damage of DNA, proteins, and cell membranes of the skin. A breakdown in collagen naturally occurs as we age. It can contribute to wrinkling. And then, of course, we have increased thinning of the skin, dryness. Dry skin contributes to the formation of wrinkles. Poor diet or nutrient deficiencies. Decreased muscle tone is a big one. And then stress. Stress is huge. The more stressed you are, the more you're going to show that stress in the health of your skin. Sun exposure is the biggest one on this list. It's kind of this balance. We don't want to be afraid of the sun necessarily, because we need vitamin D, and actually vitamin D is beneficial for the skin, but you want to make sure that you're getting sun in a responsible way. I mean, 70% of sun damage actually occurs during normal daily activities, such as walking outside and driving. So you want to protect the sun when when the sun is at its hottest and most damaging time of the day, and try to get your sun during the morning or late afternoon when you're not getting so much of those damaging sun rays. And then, of course, smoking and environmental pollutants are pretty nasty for the skin as well. Okay, so what about a diet for youthful skin? What can we eat to have glowing, youthful skin? Number one, lots of colorful fruits and vegetables. These are rich in polyphenols and antioxidants, which slow down the aging process and prevent cell damage. There's one theory that oxidation is the cause of aging. So anything that we can eat that's an antioxidant, bring it on. Let's have a diet really high in those antioxidants. Brightly colored spices are really wonderful because they're high in antioxidants as well. We have green tea, which actually reduces the risk of skin cancer, improves circulation, and because it improves circulation, it actually helps deliver nutrients to the surface of the skin. So green tea is a really healthy food or liquid for the skin. And then we've got fat and protein. Fat plumps up every skin cell. So if you can think a nice plump skin cell, it looks more youthful than a wrinkled small skin cell. So fats are important. And then, of course, protein provides the raw material for growth and repair of tissue. It's important to avoid alcohol and caffeine as much as possible, mostly because these dehydrate the skin. And hydrated skin is healthy skin. It's youthful looking skin. Making bone broth and drinking bone broth is wonderful. Bone broth provides easily digestible collagen and protein to support your skin's natural collagen production, and it's healing for the lining of the gut. And then, of course, as I keep saying over and over again, drink lots and lots of water. So some supplements for youthful skin. I really love collagen supplements. I mean, this is huge lately. Everybody's asking about collagen. Does it work? Yes, it does. It's an amazing supplement. We have a few in our store. Two of our bigger sellers are Lorna Vanderhagen's Active Collagen. So you can take that as a supplement. Or we also have one called True Marine. These come in little sachets, or you can also get them as a scoop and just add them to liquids and drink them. They don't taste like much, but they're really important for skin structure. And they, again, decrease the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. Beta-carotene complex is along with our antioxidants that we've already talked about. A good B complex as an anti-stress supplement. Silica is a good one as well. Here at NutriChem, we sell a product called BioSil, which is really high in silica. It's really wonderful for hair, skin, and nails. It improves the connective tissue, including the collagen. And then we've got our vitamin C. Vitamin C is wonderful for supporting collagen production, and it's also an antioxidant. Vitamin D is an antioxidant as well, and it's very healing. And then, again, just like every single skin condition that we've been talking about, those healthy essential fatty acids are crucial for improving moisture of the skin, plumping the skin up, reducing inflammation, and improving overall appearance. Okay, so just some general lifestyle tips for healthy skin. So you want to develop a skincare routine. A lot of my clients ask me, do I have to wash my skin at the end of the day? I mean, it may seem like a silly question, but we're all so busy that, sometimes we just want to go to bed without washing our face. But it is really important to regularly clean skin and to use an appropriate moisturizer and SPF. So if you think about the course of the day, with pollutants and sweats and oils and dust on your skin, you really want to take that off and then use a moisturizer that's appropriate for you. And of course, starting your day with a good SPF on the surface of your skin and a natural SPF is really important. Find yourself a holistic skin therapist. Yes, they are out there. You can look for an organic spa or a holistic esthetician, and these therapists use natural and organic products to heal and nourish your skin, and they're much more interested in you as a holistic person and less interested in just making a sale for any old skincare product to you. Okay, so some great resources for you here. You want to use clean personal care products and makeup. So I'd urge you to go on a purge and get rid of anything that is not healthy for your skin. Basically, what you put on your skin, you might as well be eating. Your skin is that porous. So you want to make sure that you're using only the most healthy products. There's a wonderful site called the Environmental Working Group's Skin Deep. Some people call it the EWG, Skin Deep. And you can actually go on here and just throw the name of the product in, or even a specific ingredient, into their search bar, and it will bring it up and tell you, okay, is it safe to use and completely green? Is it kind of in the yellow range and maybe you could finish it up but never use it again because it's not exactly safe? Or is it red and you should chuck it in the garbage and never buy it again because it's just not healthy for you? So it's an excellent resource. Another one I love is an app that you can get on your cell phone. It's called Think Dirty. Now basically you just take this app and you go into your health food store and scan or any store, and scan the barcode of the product that you're looking at, and much like the EWG, it'll bring up a description of this product and let you know whether or not it's safe to use for your body. And then of course David Suzuki has the Dirty Dozen Toxic Ingredient List, which is a great little guide that you can print up, cut out, just tuck into your wallet and bring with you when you're shopping, and it lets you know what the top 12 dirty ingredients to avoid would be. Limiting your use of makeup is really important. Even if you are using a nice clean makeup, too much makeup can really cause an imbalance in the skin. So it's better to use it for special occasions rather than as an everyday thing. Stress reduction is really important. So learning to ask for help, saying no when you need to. Of course, I'm a yoga instructor, so I'm going to say practice yoga and breathing techniques. We know that yoga reduces your cortisol levels. So there's scientific proof that it's reducing stress, and reducing stress is really important for the overall health of your skin. And then, of course, do your best to get a really good night's sleep. That goes a long way to give you beautiful, radiant skin. Okay, so if you do have any of these skin issues, there's many different biochemical imbalances that can contribute to these. I've mentioned a few of them, such as candida, low stomach acid, different vitamin and mineral deficiencies. So you may want to consider some biomedical testing. Now here at NutriChem, we do offer something called the BCB, or body chemistry balancing. We test for over 50 different biomedical markers to let you know sort of how your body is doing, and then we make recommendations based upon those test results. We also provide hormone testing, and we have a new hormone panel that we're offering. And then we do provide IgG food intolerance testing. This is important if you think a food intolerance may be at the root of your skin imbalance. Services at NutriChem include the biomedical testing that I just mentioned, consultations with naturopathic doctors and clinical pharmacists who have tons of experience and are really wonderful for explaining results and giving you personalized protocols. And you could also consider booking in an appointment with a NutriChem nutritionist, either myself or Laura Simpson, who's a wonderful nutritionist. And we provide dietary and supplement recommendations, as well as customized meal plans to help you heal your skin again from the inside out. Okay, so I don't leave much time for questions. I'm very happy to stick around for another 10 minutes. We may go 5 minutes over just to get to some of your questions. If your question is not answered today, I really want you to feel like you can email me at the email address provided on the screen, jdavie@nutrichem.com, and I'm going to do my best to get back to you shortly. If you have any questions or would like any more information on any of our products or services, you can give either of our locations a call. We have 2 in Ottawa, one on Richmond Road and one on St. Laurent. All right, so if you have any questions and you haven't already entered them into the question box, now is a great time to do that. All right, so I'm just going to, wow, there's a lot of questions. Wonderful, this is so exciting. Okay. Okay. Okay, I was recently diagnosed with psoriasis, and so I've been taking BioK probiotic. This is a dairy-based probiotic, and since you mentioned to not have dairy if one has psoriasis, would BioK be a problem for me? Phew. Okay, I hope everyone understood that. All right. So BioK is one of the more popular probiotics that are recommended. And a lot of people know BioK because it's sold at your Loblaws or local, grocery store. So I don't necessarily have a problem with BioK. I think it can be good for many people who have a digestive imbalance. However, if you do suffer from rosacea or psoriasis or eczema, I would look for a different brand. Now, there are many excellent brands of probiotics out there that are dairy-free. One of our most popular brands is one called Pure. Pure probiotic. There's a great one that's 50 billion, so it's called Pure 50B. It's a really nice high dosage pure probiotic, and it's dairy and gluten-free. So that might be a better one to try. There's many other dairy-free probiotics out there, but yes, I would try sticking or staying clear from probiotics that are dairy-based. I hope that helps. All right, let's see what else we have here. So rosehip oil is high in vitamin C. Yes, it is. Yeah, rosehip oil is lovely. Now, I would caution that if you do have more acneic skin type, you may not want to dive right in and use a lot of oils on your skin. Especially the more oil-based moisturizers tend to be better for drier skin types. So you want to pay attention to your skin type, but definitely a rosehip oil would be a lovely source of vitamin C. Yeah, that's a great question. Okay, here's another great one. Wow, I'm impressed. Okay, so is taking lemon juice in water an acceptable? Blah. I'm going to start again. Is taking lemon juice in water acceptable if I have low stomach acid, or should I talk to my naturopath about HCl? That's a great question. So, most people are doing this sort of lemon juice in water often in the morning, and some people are doing it, 20 minutes to half an hour before they have their meal. And for some of us, this can work really well to increase acidity. Not everyone, though. Definitely not everyone. And I would say that especially if you're really not producing very much stomach acid, if you have any of the symptoms of hypochlorhydria or low stomach acid, including belching or burping, bloating, indigestion, even heartburn, you may want to consider taking or talking to your naturopath about hydrochloric acid and even a digestive enzyme. So enzymes are really wonderful as well because hydrochloric acid increases the acidity to break down, especially proteins. But having a nice broad spectrum digestive enzyme is really beneficial for breaking your food down into the most absorbable components. So especially if you're having some of these skin conditions, I would definitely think about trying something maybe a little bit more potent than just the lemon juice. Additionally, I should mention that some people with eczema may have a problem with citric acid or citrus fruits. So it may be a trigger food for eczema and even rosacea. So that's something to consider as well. Really great question as well. All right, as a vegetarian, what's an alternative to bone broth? Very nice. So yes, I did want to mention, so for the non-vegetarians out there how to make bone broth. Basically, you would get, chicken bones and kind of chop them up. It's great to break up the bones and sort of to get the marrow out of them. You throw them in a slow cooker and you cover them with water until it's about an inch over the top of the bones. Then you want to add a tablespoon or 2 of apple cider vinegar. And then you can throw a few things to flavor it in there if you like, so some vegetables, etc. You're going to put that on low and leave it for a good 24 hours or so. You just forget it. And then strain it, and then what's left over is your bone broth. Now, there are some vegetarian sources of collagen. I believe it may be like an algae base, but that's something I'd have to do a little bit more research for you and get into, which I will do. So it's an excellent question. If you want to send me an email at that email address, jdavie@nutrichem.com, I'd be happy to send you a little bit more information on that. And if anybody else wanted to know the answer to that question, then just shoot me an email and I'll get back to you shortly. Okay. Will this webinar be available to hear again, and are the slides printable as reference? So yes, I'm sorry that I ran through that so quickly. I had so much information that I wanted to include that I know that I could have skimmed through those topics quite quickly, some of them. You should be able to have a link emailed to you if you don't already have a copy of the link, and access it again and print the slides. If that's not possible, again, send me an email and I'll make sure that you're able to do that, just so that you can use this as a reference. And again, if you want to dive into it in a deeper way, feel free to book an appointment. We're always, or even just give us a call. And any of the NutriChem locations have registered holistic nutritionists and healthcare practitioners in the front store that are there really to help you, to answer questions that you may have about our products and services. It's a great question. Will the BCB detect if I have candida or leaky gut, which may be causing my psoriasis? So this is another great question. I know I keep saying this, but I'm so impressed. So yes, the BCB actually does include one panel, which is urinary organic acid, that can tell us quite a bit about your gut microbiome. So we don't just use the test results, but we also use your intake form. So if you have your intake form and we notice that you're having an intolerance to different foods, or if you come up with a bunch of symptomatology that may give us an indication that you've got some leaky gut, or that you have a lot of kind of gastrointestinal issues going on, then that's something that we would consider. And then the results of the BCB would let us know whether or not you have sort of a gut microbiome imbalance, or an increase in unhealthy bacteria. If you have a high level of unhealthy bacteria, you're much more prone to leaky gut, which may be, again, contributing to your psoriasis. So it's sort of a domino effect. But so in the long run is, yes, I believe that the BCB would be beneficial for determining whether or not you may have both food intolerances or a candida that could be contributing to your psoriasis. Okay. Okay, here's a great little comment. Just a quick comment that BioK has a rice-based and soy-based formula, which is non-dairy, for those that are dairy sensitive. Excellent. So thanks for mentioning that, whoever made that comment. I would be careful about the soy, just because, again, it is one of the top 10 allergens, and it may contribute to more issues. But definitely, if you could get your hands on that rice-based BioK, then excellent. That would be a really great probiotic for you to try. Okay. How would you know if you are low in stomach acid? Is there a test? So with stomach acidity, we mostly look at symptoms. And like I mentioned a little bit earlier, symptoms that can indicate that you have low stomach acid are belching, burping, heartburn, a lot of people think that heartburn can, is a high stomach acid situation, but often it can be actually the result of low stomach acidity, and you're not having gastric emptying as quickly. And as a result of bloating, et cetera, that stomach acid sort of washing up into the esophagus and contributing to that feeling of heartburn. So, but in the long run, or basically it can be a result of low stomach acidity as well. Kind of gastrointestinal discomfort can be a symptom of a low stomach acid. Candidiasis, frequent yeast infections, even constipation, because if you're not breaking down your food properly, you may, it may not be being able to be eliminated as efficiently. So those are some indicators that you may have low stomach acid. But really making an appointment with your healthcare practitioner, and we do a full intake when you come in to really go over all of your symptoms, and that would be the best way to determine whether or not that's something that you may have. Okay, so I'm going to take one more question here. Like I mentioned, if I didn't get to your question today, please email me at jdavie@nutrichem.com. I'd really be happy to answer all of your questions. All right, finally, is taking a multivitamin beneficial for your skin? So yes, it is. It's definitely beneficial. Now, the way that we grow our food now, it's definitely deficient in especially those micronutrients, the vitamins and minerals that our bodies need that are really important for the health of the skin. So whereas way back when we used to, not deplete our soil with this type of farming that we do, we may have been able to get all of our nutrients from our food, but now it's just not possible. So yes, a multi is not only important for skin health, but also for overall health. And it's basically like your insurance plan. It just makes sure that you're getting all of the nutrients that you need for your skin and your body to be as healthy as possible. Okay, so there you are. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming this evening. I hope you enjoyed our webinar. I had a great time, and I hope that you do attend some of our NutriChem webinars in the future. It's a really excellent way to educate yourself and to learn more about health and wellness. And thank you again, and have a wonderful night. Take care.